Good morning and welcome to Sir Tacos Tuesday with me, Vince Montero. I still look very orange. I've been trying to figure that out. This only happens on StreamYard, which is interesting. So, thank you for joining today. Hopefully, you guys are viewing from, one of the channels that we have that we're streaming on today. We've got YouTube, Facebook, and I believe even our Trivium Group LinkedIn channel. My name is Vince Montero, otherwise known as Sir Tacos. And that is because if you guys don't know what that is, I used to run a AMA session at Helium 10 called Tacos Tuesday. Tacos Tuesday stands for total ACOS, not just the food tacos, which I do love, but total ACOS, which is your organic and PPC spend divided by your organic sales and PPC sales divided by your PPC spend. It's a metric I talk about a lot, and that's why I started that show at Helium 10, and we're carrying that on here at Trivium Group. So why don't we go ahead and if you guys can sound in from where you're checking in, watching from. I always love to see, where people are tuning in from around the world. Usually we get some people, a lot of people not in the United States that are watching. UK, I see a lot. India, I see a lot. Pakistan. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm running this this whole stream today, and this is live. So you can ask me questions during the live stream, which is the whole point of this session, is that so you can come on here and ask me PPC questions. Now, today's whole session really is a beginner's course. It's kind of a rundown of the foundation and the groundwork for PPC, what it is, why you should do it, and then how to build it up properly. And I'm hoping this will be one of 3 different sessions. I'm hoping to break these up over the next couple of months, as well as bring on guests to talk about different PPC related topics. So basically, I'm going to go through maybe 35 minutes worth of content. I've got some slides to share with you guys. I'm going to actually pop into Amazon as well. Again, if you have questions as I'm going through the things, please feel free to ask. If I see it, if I happen to look down and see the comments, I'll be able to answer the questions. If I miss it, don't worry. When I'm done with the content, I will be able to answer questions at the end of the session. And again, this is for you guys. So anything that's PPC related that you want to ask, please feel free and go ahead and ask those questions. And I'll try to get them all answered in this next hour. All right. I still don't see anybody checking in. So if you guys want to, hopefully I'm looking at the right section. I am comment section. If you guys could just write that you're here, just to make sure that it's working. I'd love to see somebody say, hey, I'm here, or checking in from. I've got one person that says I'm here, I think from YouTube. So I know YouTube is working. I'd love somebody from LinkedIn or maybe from Facebook to also say that they are here, so we know that these streams are working. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the content. So the first thing, I got another person from YouTube. Thank you, Naeem, saying hello. So the first thing that I want to cover kind of is the major difference between the types of traffic that we have on Amazon. So that is really your organic versus your paid traffic. So I'm going to go ahead and share this screen. There we go. And so we're diving into organic versus paid to start with, because some people still kind of get confused with this. Organic is basically non-paid traffic. It's when you appear naturally on the search results. Amazon basically decides to show your product if someone does a search on that very first search results page. That's all determined by Amazon. And you have both sponsored and organic positions, which I'll show you. So your organic ranking is typically determined also by Amazon, and it depends on some ranking scores that are involved with checking your listing and making sure or looking for particular keywords that they can then choose to reference your particular product with certain search terms. Now, paid search is a way to kind of manipulate, in a way, that whole process, because you're telling Amazon, hey, these are the keywords that I want to be associated with my particular products. So sponsored product ads, they show up in several different positions, and I'm going to actually pop into Amazon. We're going to make sure we go through all the different placements as they are today anyways, so you can see where all those are. Now, again, top of page, middle of page, sidebar, there's other product detail pages, which we'll look at. And these are really great exposure for people who are searching for your products. And again, it still involves ranking. Like you still need to have a relevant keyword. There's lots of different things that go involved with Amazon showing you even on a paid search, which is what we'll go into. So let's see. All right. Reasons to run PPC. This should kind of be a no-brainer at this point. If several years ago, maybe 5 at this point, you didn't really need to run PPC in order to get traffic. Now, if you've got a super niche product that nobody else has and people are searching for, number one, bravo for you. But number two, it's a highly competitive landscape. So one of the only ways to really get your product out there, especially at launch, is Amazon PPC. Now, PPC sales can influence a product's organic ranking on Amazon for a specific keyword. So that is definitely, like we were explaining before, if you want to be found organically, PPC is actually one way that you can help influence that. So that is a reason to run PPC. PPC allows you to kind of level the playing field with larger sellers. And basically all that's saying is that if somebody is appearing really high organically, a larger brand because they've been running quite some time, and if you appear right next to them with Amazon PPC, to the shopper, they might not know the difference between an ad and an organic placement. So they think your product is just as good as the product that's sitting right next to it. So it validates your product as well as leveling that playing field. And lastly, research shows that the products on the first page of the search results get at least 80% of all clicks. It might even be more now. The stat's about a year old. While the first 3 listings on page 1 get at least 60% of those clicks. So 30% of shoppers go beyond page 1 of the search results. So there's even strategies that you can do to make sure that you show up maybe on page 2. And there's some, that could be people that are really drilling down for something specific that they want, and it indicates higher purchase intent. So there's different strategies that you can implement to get on even past page 1. Now, the main priority for running Amazon PPC on day 1, right at launch, is that you show up on day 1. You're going to appear within the Amazon search results to give a boost to your product, whether at launch or whether you just need a boost, several months into launch or even any time during launch. Help shoppers quickly discover your product. Obviously, grow your sales and increase your revenue. That's one of the key drivers for Amazon PPC. Build your ranking with Amazon, which we've discussed a couple of times, and improve organic performance along the way. So those are just some benefits of running PPC. If you guys are not yet doing it, these are some of the reasons what or why you should. Now, what is Amazon PPC? I like to start by answering this question by saying what it's not. PPC is just your marketing budget. It's your if you were to open a store, you'd have to have signs to the store, maybe a billboard, maybe a magazine article to get people to your store. That's what Amazon PPC is. It doesn't guarantee sales. Your product listing is the thing that needs to actually convert shoppers into browsers into shoppers, right? Same thing if you had a physical store. If they walk into the store and it's dirty and dusty and you don't have a lot of products, they're not going to buy. Whereas if it's clean and everything's easy to find and the prices are really good, people will buy. So it's up to the product detail page to actually make the sales. PPC is kind of just a path to get people there. Now, PPC campaigns do this by targeting customer searches and actually products in order to place those ads in highly visible placements on Amazon. So again, the ads on Amazon are just like your billboard on the side of the road, trying to get people into your store. After making a successful keyword bid, the seller only pays a fee to Amazon. And during an Amazon search, a shopper can click on an ad that contains different keywords. So you're only getting charged when if a shopper actually clicks on your particular ad. So to kind of make sure that that's kind of clear, I want to just kind of go through what the Amazon PPC process looks like. So there are search terms, and that is what the shopper is doing. They're actually, or when you're shopping on Amazon, I'm sure you're not typing in keywords when you're doing a search, you're actually typing in what is called search terms. So if a seller is running a relevant ad and Amazon has determined that ad is relevant to that search term that you just put in, and you're bidding on a particular keyword that's maybe similar or exact to that particular search term, which I'll explain match types later, then your ad might be triggered and then will appear, right? So Again, if the customer clicks on your ad, Amazon will charge you the click. If they don't, then you don't pay anything. That's what's considered an impression. Now, the bid is important, but it isn't the only factor in Amazon deciding if they're going to have your ad appear. There is definitely other factors, including product ranking, relevancy, history, obviously stock. So there's lots of different reasons why your ad will appear versus another one. And it's not just bid. The bid has to be right at that moment in time, but it's not the only factor. So I just want to make that clear. So there are 3 ways to run Amazon PPC, right? So number 1 is sponsored product ads that we've been primarily talking about right now. And those are the keyword or ASIN targeted ads that allow you to have your ad appear on the search results page. So within sponsored products, there's different ways to target search terms based on the different match types, which we'll go into later in the session. Sponsored brand ads are another basically campaign type, and they're targeted based on search terms as well. There's videos now here, which you can actually see in this particular placement that's highlighted, but it's the branding type of campaign. It's the one that appears at the very top of the page. It's the video ads and a couple other placements that we'll show. And sponsored display ads. So it's the third campaign type that you can run if you are wanting to do PPC. Now, these are really effective when they're ASIN targeted. And that's what I like to do versus audiences or remarketing. If you're just starting out, just doing ASIN targeted campaigns, because they're really highly visible. This is a little screenshot, and we're going to pop into Amazon to see, but right below the buy box, right below the product description, makes it really easy for advertisers to reach their target audiences with these types of ads. Now, let's go ahead and take a look in Amazon. And if you guys have any questions about anything I just said, please feel free to pop them in the comment section and I will add them. Let's see, where did I put? There it is. All right, so in Amazon now, just to make sure we're all on the same page with what I've just been talking about. I already did a search for vertical bike rack garage. Actually, I was looking for a vertical bike, and vertical bike rack just popped up. So I'm like, okay, let's see what's here. And you can see right away the ad I was just talking about is sponsored brand. Sponsored brand is right here. It's the top. Sometimes it's oftentimes they'll have a lifestyle image right here, which I highly recommend. There's also video that's been playing here quite a bit. We're seeing that more and more as well. Now, if you scroll down, you see the first 4 different results here that are below this sponsored brand ad these are the sponsored product ads. Okay. So anywhere you see the word sponsored is an ad. This steady rack bike rack basically is bidding upon the keyword I put in, vertical bike rack garage, in some format, and they're appearing here under the sponsored product ad, just like all of these 3. Now, there's typically a row also in the middle, which lists sponsored right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 4 at the top, 4 in the middle, and then there should be a video, right? Again, this is a sponsored brand placement. So again, super powerful to have video, and I've done tons of YouTube videos on sponsored brand and the new placement. So make sure you guys check out our YouTube videos if you haven't, to get really deep insights into even how to build some of these campaigns I've gone through. We've got a couple more here. And then typically a strip at the bottom is what I'm used to seeing, but sometimes they move it around. Look, here we go. We've got the steady rack bike rack. Again, they are at the bottom of the page. So 2 video placements for the same product on the same search result. Very, very powerful. And this you can only do with Amazon PPC. The bottom here, these are also kind of branding campaigns. So it's a sponsored brand because it's got an image, a logo, kind of a headline, a tagline, and then you can click on and go into the product detail pages. But that is typically a sponsored brand. This one is sponsored display, I believe, because it's a smaller type and it's a stripe. And sometimes these are also on the side of the pages. I don't think we saw any on this. Yep, this is also a sponsored display on the search result page. So we've got a couple different placements for search results. You see Cox has taken this position here for this search result, but we've got basically a handful of sponsored brand campaigns. The majority are sponsored product ads. I think we just saw, 20 different sponsored product ads on this one search result. So let's go ahead and I'm going to click through. Let's see. one of these products, and let's just look on the ads on the actual product detail page itself. Okay. So we've typically got, again, the sponsored display, which I just kind of shared in the slides. We've got one pretty powerful campaign right at the top. This is called a top stripe ad because it looks like just a stripe. Amazon gets this position a lot. I've seen Amazon's own products, here in this position, things that they're trying to promote or sponsor. But on this particular detail page, we do have an actual ad. So now this is just the same company, Wallmaster Bike Rack. So they're bidding on their own product detail page, which is a great strategy to do. This is a defensive strategy. Let's see if they've got a couple more positions here. Let's see, Smart Swivel folds flat against wall. No, it doesn't look like they don't have these positions. But again, these are also sponsored display. So right below the buy box, or the featured offer, as Amazon is calling it now, that's a great position to be sponsored. And this sponsored is right below the typically the bullets and these rating by feature section. So great positions to be in. Again, sponsored display, ASIN targeted. So these particular companies right here are targeting this ASIN to appear on this page. And these are some of the placements they can get using sponsored display ASIN targeting. So if we scroll down, the other sponsored products that we see are always in this carousel. So sponsored products are the strips, basically, of ads that you see on the search results page. And they're also these strips of ads that you see actually on the product detail page. So you could scroll through here. You see there's 25 pages basically of ads. All of these are ads, and all of these sellers are targeting this particular ASIN, whether it be directly or through category targeting, which I'll explain. So if you're doing really, if you're proactive in optimizing your PPC effectively, you really want to appear obviously on that first page, maybe on the second one. I can't see people going all the way to the 25 before they make a decision, but you never know. So as we scroll down, typically there are more at least sponsored brand ads on product detail pages. Let's see if this one has any. Oh, we've got some videos here. Some of those are at another strip right here, products related to the item. So we have basically two strips of sponsored product ads running on here. And then we've got the, again, sponsored brand, big branding type campaigns. These are sponsored brand. If it's kind of thinner or smaller, typically, or on the left-hand side, that's going to be sponsored display, but these are sponsored brand. And then we've got sponsored videos. So all of these videos are basically also bidding on this ASIN. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So not that many videos are bidding on this particular ASIN, but a very powerful way to use your video, which is a sponsored brand, in order to get seen on different product detail pages. And then typically, here we go, sponsored display, again, because it's on the left-hand side. And then maybe, yep, another strip right here at the bottom. Tons of ads actually on product detail pages. If you ever go through it, it's quite astounding, which is why I wanted to go through it again with you guys today. So we've got sponsored product ads right here. And again, another sponsored display. So basically, I've gone through all the different types of campaigns that you can go or you can use for PPC that the typical Amazon shopper will see, right? So that's sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display. Now, PPC eligibility. So sponsored product ads, they're only available for people that are not that are brand registered. Basically, that is what the requirement is. Sponsored brand ads as well as sponsored display ads, you really can only get that if you are brand registered. So if you focus on the sponsored product ads, you still have those two different types, keyword-based to show in the search results, and then ASIN-based to target the product detail pages in those carousels. Still very powerful, but as I showed you, sponsored brands and sponsored display are equally powerful, especially when it comes to showing up on an actual product detail page of one of your competitors. And then stores, I just want to mention because this is another thing that you can get when you are Amazon brand registered. I won't go into detail, but it's basically a free website that you can have on Amazon showcasing your products, showcasing videos. You can do lots of different types, different lengths. So since it's a free, marketing tool that you can use, I highly recommend stores as well to add to your PPC arsenal. So some terminology, because sometimes the terms can be a little bit confusing for people. Important terms that you should know. I'll just highlight on these, some of them really quickly, because this is, even though it's live, it is being recorded and it will be available on YouTube afterwards. So pay-per-click, I already explained what that is. Impressions, a shopper sees your ad but doesn't actually click on it. Clicks, the number of times the customer actually clicks on your ad. The click-through rate is the number of times or the percentage that the customer saw your ad and then clicked on it. The search term, again, already went through that. The keyword and the target is basically what you are bidding upon. It could be either a word or words or an ASIN that you're using to bid on your PPC. And the bid is the amount that you're willing to pay when a shopper clicks on your ad. A couple more. Targeting, which I'll go into detail when it comes to setting up your PPC. You can choose to target your ads 3 different ways: focus on keywords, ASINs, or actually Amazon categories. So there's multiple ways that you can do targets. And when we say the word targeting or targets, we're basically talking about any of those: keywords, ASINs, or categories. Negative keywords is basically when you tell Amazon, don't associate this particular word or words with my particular product, but you have to manually, tell Amazon that, unless you have some kind of tool or an agency that's helping you with this. Keyword match types, I'll go into greater length on these, but there's 3 different ways you can target actually words: either broad match, phrase match, or exact match. Dynamic bidding is something that you can, number one, check on when you're building campaigns, because this is something that I've seen as I've been building campaigns recently. It's set to dynamic up and down. And it is something that I think at start, at least, should be set to down only. And it's just a way that Amazon optimizes your campaigns when it comes to bidding and the algorithm that it uses. Placement bidding is a little similar to dynamic bidding, but it's really specific because it tells Amazon, I want to pay more to appear top of search, or I want to pay more to appear on a product detail page based on the campaign type that you're running. ACoS, advertising cost of sales. This is the main standard metric that most people use to measure the efficiency of their advertising campaigns. And it's basically just your money spent on advertising divided by the amount of sales that results come from those ads. I like tacos, total sales, total advertising cost of sales, and I already explained why earlier in the session. So the next thing that's kind of important to understand as you're maybe even building these out at the same time or for the first time is the campaign framework. There's 2 different campaign types for sponsored product ads. So again, since this is the first type of campaign that you can run when you're brand new, if you're not yet brand registered, there's 2 different ways that you can do it. You can either run auto campaigns, automatic campaign, or you can run a manual campaign. So Amazon will target your keywords and products that are similar to your product in your ad for you. That is the advantage of an auto campaign. It's really easy to set up. You don't really have to do any keyword research ahead of time, because you're just letting Amazon run it for you and find search terms and find ASINs that your product might be relevant for. But it's also really good for keyword research and to then collect data that you can use eventually for your manual campaigns. So it's definitely a campaign type that I recommend that you do run. And there's some nuances that you can do with the targeting. But for now, let's say that auto campaigns are an easy way to get going with your Amazon PPC, whereas the manual campaign, you actually are telling Amazon, hey, here's the keywords, here's the ASINs that I want to target, here's how much I want to pay, for each of these different targets. So some research is required for your manual campaigns, but there's so many great tools out there. Obviously, Helium 10 is one of the best out there for keyword research and ASIN research. You should be doing that anyways. You should have already done that when you did your SEO for your product detail page. So you just use those same keywords and use them for PPC. The advantage of this one is it's more precise, right? Because you're not letting Amazon just kind of shotgun approach. You're basically saying, hey, these keywords, these targets, ASINs, and these bids. So you get greater control. and potentially greater control over the spend, especially if you're not watching it regularly, which you should be doing if you do have an auto campaign, because they can get out of control. All right, so let's dive into the match types, which I said I would cover. Oh, Kenny says, checking in from Las Vegas. 22 minutes behind, but excited for tacos. Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate that. Again, these are recorded, so you can watch everything that I kind of went over before this if you'd like. Targeting types or match types, so you can kind of interchange. Match types for keywords and targeting types is for all of them. So match types are basically how you tell Amazon how to relate to your particular search term to a keyword, right? In the auto campaigns, there are actually targeting types or match types, if you want to call them. There's 4 different buckets, I also call them as well, that auto campaigns run. Close match is your ad will run to shoppers who use search terms that are closely related to your product, and that is the search result page. Loose match, your ad will show to shoppers who use search terms loosely related to your products. Again, these are both concerned with the actual search result page, whereas substitutes and complements is the product detail pages ads that we just went through. Substitutes means your ad will show to shoppers who view detail pages of products similar to yours. And again, Amazon is making all these different decisions kind of on the back end with auto campaigns. Complements, your ad will show to shoppers who view detail pages of products that are complementary to your particular product. So let's say you sell sheets, Amazon might decide to put you on a product detail page of pillows because they are complementary. But if you wanted to really kind of monitor these different targeting types, what you could do is launch 4 different campaigns, one with each targeting type in the all auto campaigns, and just kind of track and see, hey, which ones perform better than others. Typically, I find close match and to be the best one because it's closest to your product type. But sometimes you might find one of the other buckets actually performs better. And again, this is just for the auto campaigns. When it comes to the keywords, it is 3 different options for how you want to associate the search term to the keyword. You could either do it broadly, you can use phrase, or you can use exact. So broad is what you want to do because if you're at launch, because you can get a lot of different search terms associated and linked to that keyword, and that's what you can use for research, which is what we said before was the benefit of actually even using the auto campaign. You can do the same thing by doing broad match keywords in your manual campaigns. Phrase match, a search term will match to your keyword if it contains the exact sequence. And I'm going to actually go in the next slide and go through each of these, so it hopefully will make a little bit more sense. Exact match is exactly as it sounds. It should match your keyword exactly or a close variant of it to a plural. And then the product target, I put this here because it's not really, it's targeting type. An ASIN is kind of like an exact match keyword because an ASIN is an ASIN. You can do expanded searches now, so you can do a little bit of a variation. I focus on just targeting ASINs or a particular category, as long as you refine it, which I think I'm going to go through in the intermediate PPC training that I'm going to be doing here. All right. So thank you, Brandy. So let's go through the different match types just when it concerns broad, phrase, and exact, because it can be confusing. So we got this pyramid here, and as you can see, the base of this is broad, the middle is phrase, and the top is exact. And that is really because the kind of traffic that you would get for a keyword such as baseball caps here, it changes as you use the different match types. So again, if you're using broad match, this is the widest net. If you want to think of it this way, this is the widest net that you're casting because all the keywords are close variants, such as plurals or in any order, are connected here, right? So what that looks like for this keyword baseball caps is if it's broad, it could be adult baseball caps. It could be red caps for baseball. So you see red caps for baseball. The words aren't even in the same order for that keyword that you're bidding upon, baseball caps. The words are actually flipped. It's red caps for baseball. But because those 2 words are in it and it's a broad match, it is actually eligible to be connected to this baseball cap keyword. Ineligible is sports cap because only the word cap is in there. Sports isn't in there. Cubs baseball, that it won't match that way. It has to match at least 2 different words. Oop, went the wrong direction. Phrase match next. A search term will match to your keyword if it contains the exact phrase or sequence again. So what does that look like for baseball caps? It means baseball caps has to be right next to each other. Baseball caps for girls works. Red baseball caps works. So as you go up, you're refining the number of keywords or the type of search terms that Amazon will connect to your keyword. Ineligible, nice ball caps, cool caps for baseball. Those don't match because the baseball caps aren't next to each other like you are bidding upon in this phrase match. So let's see. Exact match is exactly as it is. This is the simplest one, but it's also the smallest net, right? So the only exact matches for the keyword baseball caps are baseball cap or baseball caps, because Amazon will use plurals. So any ineligible is anything outside of that, because you're just telling Amazon, I want to exactly match baseball caps, and they will throw in baseball cap as a match. So as you can see, as you move up from broad targeting to low to higher or exact targeting, you might have higher conversions on the top end because you are really kind of drilling down into exactly what you want to be seen for that's most relevant. Whereas on the broad targeting, you might have a lower conversion because there's a lot of different variations that can be connected to your keywords. But we do suggest you try all these different match types, especially at launch, really to see what is going to be the most effective for you. Because you really never know. A broad match keyword actually might perform really, really well over time. And so you got to test before you can define, I'm only going to test certain types of match types. As we continue on to the kind of the framework, one of the most important things to do when creating Amazon PPC campaigns is having the right structure from the very beginning. We see this a lot at Trivium Group when most new clients are coming. We audit the account. They're set up, incorrectly. And so building this framework is really important. And that's why I just wanted to go through it with you, because in order to optimize effectively and scale effectively, you really want to keep 2 things in mind, which is organization and control. So to give you an example, let's just talk about ad groups. So let's say you set up a campaign with a budget of $100 and you create 2 ad groups. The assumption might be, if as you're building it, that the $50 would go to each of the ad groups. Well, no, that's not how Amazon works. Unfortunately, Amazon distributes the budget at their own discretion. Whatever search term they think is going to have or be the most effective at converting, that's what they're going to focus on. That's the keyword within the campaigns they're going to focus on. Again, that's all based on the algorithms that Amazon uses. So what you think, if you're building this out in a $100 campaign budget example, you put in $25, or you expect each to spend $25 each, because it's divided by that $100. And you put in 10 keywords in each. So that's 40 keywords across 4 different ad groups but in one campaign. But what actually happens is all the ad groups spend differently. So it doesn't matter the amount of keywords that are in the ad group at this point. Amazon, again, is going to find the keywords it likes the most. And that typically means the ones that are or higher conversion potential. And that's where the money is going to be spent. So you don't really have, in this sense, we're talking about budgets. You kind of lose control of your budget. So since those campaign budgets do not get distributed evenly between these different ad groups, what is the solution? Well, it's pretty simple. What we advocate, and what I advocated even at Helium 10, and what I advocate even with my own clients, is only one ad group per campaign. So it might mean a lot more campaigns, but you're going to get a lot more control over lots of different things. But one of them will be, hopefully, more control over your budgets. Another question that I get asked a lot is how much spend will each keyword get? So again, it's the same as the ad groups. We can't control how much spend each different keyword will get. So we can set the budget at the campaign level, but that will flow. Amazon will decide, again, which keywords it's going to tie those to, however it sees fit. So how many keywords per ad group or campaign? So based on our research, based on me working with Amazon PPC since 2017, and all the experts here at Trivium Group, we like to say, 5 to 20 keywords max. But again, this depends on search volume. So at this level, there should be enough money to go around so that all the keywords really get impressions. Any more than that, and the extra keywords really won't get any impressions, and you won't get data. And we see that a lot. I was just looking at an account the other day where there was like 800 keywords in one ad group, in one campaign. And that just doesn't work because the bulk of the keywords that maybe were added to the campaign, maybe they made a sale somewhere else and they were added to the campaigns, they're just not going to get any impressions because there's too many keywords. All right. So thanks, Stefan. So we've got, so what's the solution? This is the recommendation. Instead of one campaign with 4 ad groups, it's 4 campaigns. So campaign 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they each have 1 ad group. And how do you break them up? Because, we still had those 40 keywords that we wanted to test. Well, you break them up by search volume, right? So if you've got very high search volume keywords, you want those together because hopefully, because they're all high search volume keywords, Amazon will look at those and say, okay, these are the most important ones, and it will at least maybe try to spread this the budget across those. If they're different search volumes, that's where you get into trouble because it's always the higher volume search terms or keywords that are going to get most of the attention from Amazon and end up spending most of the budget. And that's why we're saying here, campaign 2, you put, and again, high volume to search volume is variable. It depends on your product, how popular it is, how competitive it is. So I'm just saying here, do your research for the keywords that you do want to target, but then look at the search volumes and break them up. And this is kind of a way to break them up. So your top ones, 1 to 5 keywords, your high volume ones that are just below that, very high search volume, maybe just max 10. Your medium volume ones, maybe max 15. Your low volume keywords, maybe max 20 keywords, right? So all we're trying to do here is make sure that the keywords that you're trying to target actually will get some impressions so that you actually will get data and then know how to optimize those campaigns. So why all keywords in an ad group should have similar search volume. I kind of already explained that, but this is a critical part of the campaign structuring that can significantly impact your campaigns. Keywords with different search volumes don't mix. So that is because when you add high search volume with a low search volume in the same ad group, the keyword, the high search volume will suck up all the budget, gets all the impressions, regardless of how big the budget is. So in many times I've tried to, in the past, just increase budgets on particular campaigns to see if Amazon will allocate some of the budget to the search terms, or sorry, some to the keywords that aren't getting any impressions. And it just doesn't work. Amazon just takes the increased budget and applies it to the handful of keywords that it knows is going to get some potential conversions because it's already done the research. So think about it like an 80-20 rule. Even when it comes to keywords in a campaign, only 20% of the keywords you're going to put in are going to get really any traffic. And what we're trying to do is get the rest of the 80% to be included. Campaign budget allocation. So how much budget should my campaigns have? This is another question that I get a lot. So I wanted to answer this question here. But it's equally critical a part of the campaign creation. You want to set the right budgets at the start. There's no single answer to this question to me personally. Now, Amazon will generally give you recommendations on budgets when you're creating the campaigns, but it really is up to you to monitor your campaigns and ensure that there is enough budget. So you can use the new budget page to quickly see if you have campaigns running out of budget. So in the intermediate one, I'm going to go into Amazon and look at the actual budgets page and show you kind of where that is. But you do know when you're logging into Seller Central, when you have campaigns that are out of budget, Amazon will tell you. So if you are brand new and you are trying to, get data that you need to optimize campaigns effectively, it's super important to make sure you don't run out of budget. So the answer to this question, how much budget should my campaigns have, is really it should have enough budget to not run out of budget. And that's going to be different for each product. Again, competition, the average CPCs. So final tip, if your budget's too low and it's running out regularly, that means you're missing out data from certain portions of the day. So if your budget's running out at 6 a.m., you're running out, basically, you've got more than half the day that's gone. If it's running out at noon, okay, well, you're missing from noon to midnight of the day, which is probably going to be more higher converting than from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. So you can't effectively optimize your PPC if you're not working with a complete data set. So especially at launch, data collection is the whole point of PPC at launch. So if you don't have all the data, you can't really effectively optimize. So at least for the first 2 to 4 weeks, you just make sure you have enough budget in your campaigns so that you never see it running out. And then after the 30 days, you can look at the data and then drill down, cut things, optimize things, find the search terms that are spending with no sales, maybe find some of the high ACoS keywords. If you're using Trivium, obviously, that is something that we do here. If you're using, software, that's something that can help with that as well. But the point is, you need that full data set, especially at launch, when you're optimizing or trying to optimize effectively for the future. And I think that was it. Yes. All right, guys. So I thought I had 45 minutes of content. Apparently, I only had 40. So, which is fine. It now gives you guys time to ask questions. So let's see who has any questions that I can answer here. Lost your mic. Oh, I lost my mic. Can you guys not hear me? It looks like it's working on this end, Sadiq. Hopefully I have not been talking this whole time without a working mic. Yes? No? Does anyone want to tell me if they can hear me? All right. Well, I don't see any questions here. So and someone said I lost my mic 1034. But 1041, I have fire. 1041, I have a plus sign. Does that mean you can hear me? Yes. And it looks like we've got mostly people here from YouTube, which is great. We need to figure out how to get more people on from our YouTube channel and our Facebook groups, which I can see are actually both on live right now. So that being said, our next Amazon AMA will be the last Tuesday of the month of May. I don't know what that date is offhand, but I will have a guest on with me to talk about Amazon automation, AI, maybe some chat GPT, but things that can help with managing your Amazon business that will also potentially help with your PPC results. So I'll be able to announce who that guest is as soon as I have it confirmed in the next couple of weeks. So please, you guys, if you haven't subscribed, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. And if you guys are watching right now, make sure you are also using or connected to our Instagram page. We have a lot of different content that comes out on the Instagram account for Trivium Group. So definitely want to follow that for even last minute reminders for these particular sessions and shows that I do once a month. All right. Thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed that content and keep an eye out for future trainings like this. Thanks.